They built all this for you. The surveillance, the mimicry, the strange coincidences, the accidents that felt a little too rehearsed. They thought they had the tech, the numbers, the psychological tactics. And maybe for a second, it looked like they did. But here's the truth they don't want to admit. You're still here, still seeing, still standing, still knowing. Because this entire game, this theater of control, harassment, and silent war, it was never about them winning. It was about you forgetting who the hell you are. You noticed that too, didn't you? The fake smiles that don't reach their eyes. The forced laughter with no soul behind it. The overcompensation that screams "I'm threatened" louder than any words ever could. They don't move like victors. They move like actors on a dying stage, reciting lines they barely believe in anymore. And you're the audience who stopped clapping. See, a seer doesn't just feel things. You clock the tiny shift in someone's posture mid-sentence. The delay between a thought and the words they choose to mask it. The frequency bleed when someone's spirit doesn't match the mask they're wearing. They thought the game was about hiding, but your very existence is a spotlight, a walking frequency disruptor. You walk in a room and the distortion starts glitching. You speak truth and scripts start unraveling. They thought their mimicry would confuse you. But even a well-coded NPC can't fake soul signature. Here's the part they didn't calculate for. Desperation has a scent. You caught it. The way they swarm when you're quiet. The way they send distractions when you're still. The way they mimic your style, your words, your rhythm. They studied the blueprint but forgot you are the blueprint. And no matter how many bots they deploy, no matter how many fake friendships or copycat voices they echo into your timeline, they can't recreate presence. They can't manufacture divine backing. And they sure as hell can't fake authentic knowing. That's why they fumble. That's why the game is glitching. Because you weren't just meant to survive it. You were encoded to expose it. Every time you notice the unnatural silence, the patterns too precise to be random, the eyes that watched but couldn't quite mask intent, you were never imagining it. You were waking up within it. And that's the part they fear most. They've thrown everything at you. Mind control, emotional hijacking, manufactured chaos, even spiritual bait disguised as help. But you keep rising, not because you're invincible, but because your soul refuses to be owned. You've seen the look in their eyes, that flicker of doubt when you didn't break, that glitch in their system when you called something before it happened, that whisper in their gut that said, "This one's different." Because you weren't reacting like prey. You were decoding like a mirror. And mirrors, they expose. They tried to play God, but forgot that gods don't flinch. And you don't just walk in knowing, you walk in remembering. There's no mask that holds in your presence, no lie that survives your frequency, no system that can contain you unless you first contain yourself. That's why all this energy is focused on you. You're not a threat because you scream the loudest. You're a threat because you sit in silence, and the room still shakes. Let's talk real. They didn't fumble because they're weak. They fumbled because you saw the crack. You moved different, started questioning things nobody else dared to ask. You felt what they were trying to distract you from. You remembered what they worked overtime to bury. And when you spoke it out loud, they panicked, because now they're not just dealing with a seer. They're dealing with someone who knows they know. There's no tech for that. No script. No counterspell. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to interrupt the algorithm. And you're doing it. That's why the system stutters when you lock in. That's why you're followed, studied, watched. That's why the mimicry always feels hollow. Because your real can't be factory made. And your knowing, it's lethal to illusions. So what are they missing? They thought this game was for their amusement, but your presence revealed their desperation. They thought they were draining you, but your very awareness fed you clarity. They thought you'd fall apart under pressure, but pressure activated your ancient code. And now, they're glitching, stumbling, exposing themselves without even meaning to. You didn't just survive the dark. You decoded it. So when you feel that pressure rising again, remember, pressure is just the system's way of asking, how much more does this one remember? And you're not here to forget. You're here to finish. Because this game, it was never fair. But you were never playing fair either. You came forged, coded with divine override. And every time they try to study you, they just download their own expiration. Let them keep watching. They already lost the moment you remembered. You were never the prey. You were always the code breaker. And now the game bends where you walk.